Welcome, everybody, to another edition of How to Beat Your Addictions and Live a Quality Life with your host, John Giordano. I'm Scott Jones, and we're just really happy you guys joined us here today. John, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing really well. I have to tell you that, I was thinking about last night about what to talk about. And, with all the things that are going on with COVID and people losing their jobs and being locked up at home and all this stuff, we're not talking about how to live a quality life. I was listening to this yogi on Facebook. He's really good. I think his name is Sadhu. And he was saying some simple things that I already knew. And it was like, if you're going to do something you don't know about, just do it. And as you go along, you'll just learn it as you go, by either mistakes or by successes. And that's about life. That's how life is.
Absolutely. And I think the first thing we probably need to do, well, let's tell everybody, if you like what we're talking about and you want more of this, make sure you like us. Make sure you share this page. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get alerts when new shows come on. Because if we don't find people watching, then there's no reason to keep it going. So we need to know you're out there. Please share us and like us and subscribe to our page. But I think the first thing we got to do is figure out how do you define a quality life? I guess it's a personal question for everybody, but let's ask you, John. What would you consider a quality life?
Well, I look at a quality life going through, of course, my own personal experiences. That's one of the best ways I can talk about it. And talking to, doing addiction treatment for, 35 years now? And talking to the people that are in recovery that have changed their lives and asking them questions. And that's how I learn. What I learned in life is that I know that I don't know. And these podcasts that we do is to share information. Look, you don't have to agree with it. Just listen to it. Give it a shot. If it don't work for you, don't do it. I don't ask anybody to believe a word I tell them. I just ask them to give it a shot and see what happens. And a quality life is being peaceful inside. Okay, feeling that you have a direction. It's not about money. It's not about having that girl in your life or the guy in your life or having a new car. Okay, it's about that a sense of inner peace. And how do you get that? Well, you have to. There's a number of things that you have to look at. First, we have to balance our life, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Excuse me. As you get older, okay, things change. And what becomes a priority is really your health. And, everybody says, well, I want to get that house. I want to get that car. Yeah, that's fun. Look, we all want that stuff, okay? But if you ask anybody that's sick, that had $1 million home, if they would trade it for their health, and I promise you, they would say, take the house. So how to live a quality life is you have to do the work. I'm going to be 75 this year. And I made it my business to stay as healthy as I possibly can. Now, I always make a joke as well as I get hit by a bus. But, I exercise. I do my best to eat as best I can. Do I eat perfect? No. Okay. I'm working on that. I meditate, which has been around for, I don't know, 1,000 years?
Oh, much longer than that, yes.
So meditation is so important. Look, the world is crazy around us. You got to quiet the mind. You got to take time out, 5 minutes, just to settle in, all right, and get in touch with that light inside each one of us, because there's so much darkness around. So if you meditate, it's real simple. There's techniques you can find online, how to meditate. I use a simplistic way of doing it. I breathe in for the count of 5. I hold for the count of 3. I breathe out for the count of 5. I hold for the count of 3. And I repeat the process. And I don't think about any other thing but just my breathing. Okay? And if you do that for a while, Okay, I used to do 45 minutes a day. All right, I'm down now to about 10, 15 minutes. And it makes a difference. It really does. All right, because your mind is let's say like a car. You can't run a car 100 miles an hour consistently. You got to slow it down. So it's the same thing with our minds. And look at all the things that are going on. I have my wife is she has a kidney transplant. She takes immune suppressants. God forbid she should catch COVID, she may die. You know, um, so that's a little scary. But things are what they are, and we do the best we can to stay healthy. We build up our immune system. I can't believe that they're really not pushing building up your immune system. So today we're going to talk about how to do that. All right, it's easy to tell somebody, all right, build up your immune system. Most people don't know how. First of all, drink plenty of water. Now, what does water do? Well, first of all, it helps clean out the toxins in your body.
Mm-hmm.
You got to flush it out. Try washing a dish with 2 drops of water. Let me know how you do. Okay. So you have to drink at least 3/4 of a gallon of water a day. And that's number one. Okay. And I don't mean bottled water. If you can get reverse osmosis water, do that. If you can't, do your best to get the best water you can. I don't even know what the best water is anymore, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure. But
So,
even the worst one's better than none.
If you can afford it, my house, I have filters on the outside, the water that's coming into the house, and then I have reverse osmosis. Okay, drinking water in the house. And I think it's kind of comical that certain people they keep buying bottled water, thinking that they're doing really well, and then they take showers and baths with the regular tap water. Guess what? That water goes into your body. So if you can afford that, but we all can do the best we can. If you have to, you drink the best bottled water you can find. Go online, figure out which is the best one. I don't know because I don't drink that. Okay. So water is your first step. Second step, sleep. Now, most addicts and most people have a hard time sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a hard time sleeping sometimes. So it was really, really interesting. And I know about this stuff, and I didn't even pay attention to what I already know. And I got aroma. My son gave me a gift of aromatherapies. Okay, lavender. And I started spraying lavender on my pillow, and man, I go right to sleep now. I mean, I was amazed. I was taking valerian, I was taking different sleep formulas, all this kind of stuff, and the valerian really helped. I mean,
Lavender.
the lavender. But also, what you can do is don't watch television before you go to sleep at night, okay? Because your mind gets stimulated, and then it takes a long time to fix. Some don't have food past 6 o'clock if you can. Okay, 7 the latest. All depends what time you go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's real important because the hardest thing your body does is digestion. And you don't want to be digesting your food while you're trying to relax and go to sleep. So that's also important. Now, caffeine, okay? Some people are hypersensitive to caffeine. I drink caffeine. I'm not going to say I don't. Okay, but now I cut myself back to 1 or 2 cups a day. That's it. Okay, and it's decaf. My second cup is decaf, which has a little caffeine in it anyway. I just like the taste. I don't use it to bring me up because I'm already up. So that's what you have to consider. Now, in order to also build up your immune system, you have to exercise. At least 20 to 30 minutes, at least 5 days a week. And really important. Now, people say, well, I can't go to the gym. Look, man, you don't need a gym to work out. There's push-ups, there's sit-ups, there's jumping jacks, there's squats.
How about walking around the neighborhood, John?
Well, I was going to go through the whole thing. There's walking. Okay, if you have a pool or access to one, there's swimming.
That's a good one.
Okay, so, there's a lot of things we can do. But, people don't look at this stuff. And let me tell you something, the only time they start looking at their health is when they're sick. Western medicine is to fix it after it's broken. Eastern medicine is to fix it before it breaks. So that's what the path that I'm on. Now, once you do your exercise, and maybe not anaerobic is picking up weights. And as you get older, you should have some weights in your routine, so to strengthen your bones. Okay, but you want to get to an aerobic workout. Okay, so, and like Scott said, now walking. Now people walk. Listen, I don't mean strolling. Okay, that's not walking. You have to walk at a brisk pace as much as you can. So you're breathing a little labored, not out of breath, but labored. Okay, that helps tremendously. So that's another piece. Now, since everything is going on the way it's going on in our world, I firmly believe that prayer to a higher power, or whatever that is for you, and getting in touch with a God of your understanding, okay, in the spiritual realm, all right, and do your best to get in touch with that and realize that we're not in charge. I know I like to think I'm in charge, but plain English, shit happens, and you're really not in charge. All right, all we can do is the best we can, and that's how I look at it. Then what you want to do is you want to eat properly. Food is health. Okay, if you look at food, it's energy. Okay, and you need the right energy. If you had a gasoline car, you don't put diesel fuel in it. It's both fuel, but that doesn't work with a gasoline engine, as you know. So it's the same thing with eating. Addicts, especially heroin addicts, love carbs, sugar, processed food, all of this kind of stuff that's really bad for the ecology of your body. That's how you get diabetes. That's how you get high blood pressure. That's how you get all these other ailments that are really unnecessary. Okay? Now, you need to cut out the sugars as best you can. Cut out the carbs, lower them. You need carbs, but not a tremendous amount of carbs. And good carbs, different vegetables and things like that. Stay away from the processed foods because, look, these food companies are interested in profit. And they're putting stuff in our food supply that's horrific. Okay, I remember years ago they found out that red dye, too, was causing attention deficit disorder.
Right.
Which was like, what? And they allow it? Another thing they do is, I believe it's called DDT, that they spray on the vegetables to kill the bugs. Okay, then they poo-poo that, and they stop that. But what they didn't stop is that we buy our produce from foreign countries like South America, which still uses that product, so they're bringing it over here. Okay? Causing cancer and causing all kinds of other things. We really got to be on top of ourselves. And people say, well, it's too much to think about it. Well, listen, man. I mean, you want to feel good? You got to work at it. I mean, we're too sedentary. That's another issue. If this was 100 years ago or 200 years ago, okay, if you wanted to buy food or get food, you have to go and either go hunting, go to these markets that people have. Not like a supermarket that we have today. We get things from all over the world. It's so easy. You go and you pick, and you want water, you turn on the faucet. Before, if you wanted water, you had to go down to the creek. So our bodies are meant to move. And what happens is that, we're not moving. We're too sedentary. So the body is not functioning properly because we're not moving. And we're not burning energy. We're not burning calories. It's really important to keep your body moving. It's like anything else. If it's like an engine, if you don't use the engine, it can seize. We're like engines. So you have to pay attention to that. The reason why I wanted to talk about this in this podcast today because a lot of people don't know what to do. Okay? And I hope I'm not boring you. I'm doing my best to give you information that I learned that helped me. Everything I'm telling you, I do. Okay? Do I do it 100%? No. I'm working on it. But I don't take medications. I'm going to be 75. I work out. I'm in pretty decent shape. And I'm still working on it, but it's a work in progress. You don't just say, oh, I'm in good shape, now I stop. No. You have to keep doing the things that help you to stay well and healthy. You know, a healthy body helps with a healthy mind. A healthy mind helps with a healthy emotions. And a healthy spiritual connection helps with the overall part. Now, nutrients, what to take.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to take nutrients, which I recommend highly, okay, there's a thing, my friend is a formulator out of New York, and he has a product called, and I'm not advertising it, I don't make money from this, it's called Protovite. Protovite. It's a multi-mineral and vitamin nutrient that has other things in it, grapeseed extract, all kinds of different things. And they did a paper on it, and what they found out, it goes into the bloodstream in 189 seconds, which is unbelievable. It's a nanotechnology, okay? And what that means is that it's small particles that you squish around in your mouth, you bypass the gut, all right, and after 35 seconds, you swallow it. It gives you energy. It gives you overall health for your body. Now, since COVID's around, you want to take, of course, you've heard this before, you want to take D3, okay? You want to sit out in the sun a little bit, not long, 10, 15 minutes, okay? You want to take magnesium. Very important to take magnesium. Now, any of these nutrients you get, you want to look on the label and let's make sure it's a GMP lab, okay? That's an independent group that oversees the way these things are manufactured. Okay? So, you know, it's an unregulated industry. So they self-regulated with these third-party labs, you know.
Right.
So you want to take magnesium, you want to take D3, and you want to take, you want to take zinc. Really important. Okay? So when you're taking all of that, and vitamin C, very important with vitamin C. Linus Pauling, I happen to be very fortunate to work with a Stephen Schoendaler. He's a doctor out of Stanislaus University who did a study on adolescents, 500 adolescents, and that were in, I think we're in
juvenile detention, I think. Yeah, right? I remember that study, yeah.
Yeah, and he showed how diet and nutrients improved behavior. I mean, it's just very apparent, okay? So this is all evidence-based. Amino acids, extremely important. Dr. Blum has a formula. When you go to the Protovite website, they have amino acid formulas that Dr. Blum and this other friend of mine, Bill Downs, formulated. There's, I think there's 15 research papers on that?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I think there might be more than that now.
Yeah, it might be more than that now. We did fMRIs, SPECT scans, giving a double-blind study on these amino acids, and it showed how it upregulated dopamine. Now, dopamine is your feel-good drug that we manufacture naturally. So I would just look into it. If it doesn't work, don't do it. Okay, simple stuff. This is really valuable information. Now, I work with scientists from all over the world. I'm in 75 currently now medical and scientific peer-reviewed journals. Most doctors don't have one. All right? I work with people from over 25 universities. So the stuff I'm giving you is the latest and the greatest. But it's up to you to figure that out for yourself and see if it works for you, because everybody's different. Mm-hmm. Okay? Don't poo-poo it before you even give it a shot. Another very, very important part of your overall health is your microbiome or microbiota. And what is that? Well, that's the flora in your gut. That's the good and bad bacteria. It's paramount for our health. Because we're made up of mostly bacteria. People don't realize that. And if your gut is out of whack, your whole body gets out of whack. And why is that? Well, you have to understand that in the flora in your gut, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, it's out of balance. Remember, dopamine and serotonin, that's our natural chemicals in our body that feel-good drugs that we manufacture, okay, is manufactured in the gut, 90%. And from there, it goes up what is called the vagus nerve, okay, up the side, goes into the brain, and it carries the dopamine and serotonin into the brain. So if your gut is out of whack, you're not getting enough serotonin and dopamine. Also, if your gut's out of whack, autoimmune diseases come into play. Now, there's a ton of science on this. So most people say, well, what do I do? Well, you got to understand also, you can get diseases like what is known as H. pylori. You can take a test, they check your breath, and they can tell you if you have H. pylori. So there's H. pylori. There's leaky gut syndrome, means that the wall inside your gut is permeated and it's leaking food into the rest of the system where it doesn't belong, okay, and can cause depression and anxiety. Same thing with H. pylori. People, especially alcoholics, are hypoglycemic, okay, low blood sugar. Addicts have closed head injuries, which causes behavioral problems, okay, and also depression and anxiety. These are the things that treatment centers are not looking at. And then you have heavy metals, which is really interesting. Look at Flint, Michigan, and what they found in the water supply. And I got news for people. A lot of our water supplies are messed up. All right? So look into it. No, I don't want you to believe me, man. Check it out. Okay? I'm just giving you things that you could look at. You make your own decisions. Okay? So in order to fix the gut, you have to have probiotics and prebiotics. Okay, probiotics is like, you can look at it as like the seed to grow the good bacteria. Okay, prebiotics is the rain. Okay, that helps it to continue to grow. So you got probiotics and prebiotics, and then you need to take enzymes with your food. So the enzymes help to break down the food and where you get the most out of it with the nutrients that supplies your body. So these are a lot of the things that you can do, okay, to help yourself stay healthy. And, people get depressed and they have anxiety and they have all these things and they ruminate about, oh, I'm lonely and, oh, I'm bored. Oh, I don't have any money. Listen, I've been homeless. Okay. I went through depression. I went through anxiety. I know what that's like. I'm not just talking from a book. I'm talking from my own experiences. Okay, now we're all different and we all deal with things differently. But what I learned is be careful what you think. Okay, number one. All right, if you keep ruminating about things like that, you're going to stay sick. All right, people say, well, I can't, I try, and no, trying is dying. Okay, you got to do it. You got to reach out, go to therapy if you can. Okay, if you don't have money, there's programs you can go to therapy. Talk to somebody. All right, if you're in recovery, which I think all people should be in recovery personally, but that's just my own bias, go to your self-help groups, whether it's online, in person, okay, go with people that are on the same path as you. If you hang out with shit and play niggas, you're going to start to stink. Okay? So you got to hang out with people that are on the same path as you, that are seeking to have a better life. If you want to get really high, excuse me, help yourself and another human being. And I can show you how to really get high. Okay? That's my journey. That's what I chose. That's what Scott has chosen. That's why we do these podcasts, to help people. And, look, people have a short attention span. Um, they go, yeah, I know that, I know this. Everybody knows everything, but the problem is knowing is only the first step. I always say knowledge is power, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't apply it. So just knowing is only the first step in that journey. You have to apply what you learned. So what these podcasts are about is teaching you about this stuff, and it's just not my view of the world. It's all the experience and all the people I learned from, and I'm sharing it with you. So this is why we did this podcast today, to start giving you more information about how to take care of yourself. Which if you don't take care of you, who's going to take care of you? Okay? You can't rely on other people to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. Okay? That's important. And the bottom line is, if you're suffering from a disease, okay, you got to stay and start looking at the way you think. All right? I know it's hard to be positive when things are falling apart, but it takes the same energy to be positive as to be negative, and the negative thoughts only bring you down that rabbit hole. Okay? So even if you have to believe it until it becomes believable, I suggest you do that. Because your mind has a lot to do with your body, your spirit, your soul, and how you think is how you respond to life. It's like working out. It's like picking up weights. If you say, well, I can't do it, you're not going to do it. Okay? And you still may not do it, but you have to go and push. And that's what life's about. Never give up. That's why I wrote the book, My Life Story, showing people all the trials and tribulations that I went through in my life. That I thought my life was over at a time. I thought that I'll never get out of this. I thought that why is God? I blame God, of course. We always blame everybody. Okay? We don't look at our choices. And it's called The Kid from the South Bronx Who Never Gave Up. It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. You can go to my website, John, the letter J, Giordano, GIORDANO.com, and check it out, man. I'm here to do the best I can to give freely what was given freely to me and help other human beings to have a quality life.
John, I mean, you said a lot there. Obviously, I just kind of sat back and absorbed a whole lot, but I wanted to throw a few questions at you, all right?
Sure.
That I think are standard questions for people. Let's go back to when you were talking about food for a minute there. There's a lot of people, I mean, the number one thing I see with people who do the wrong thing with food is they skip meals, breakfast especially. Is that unhealthy?
Okay, let's look at what breakfast is, first of all. Okay, so that's another important thing. When you get up in the morning, you need to drink not cold water, a glass of room temperature water to get the system working. You might want to consider eating some oatmeal to give you a little energy. Okay? Breakfast is an important meal for the day. Okay? Your heaviest meal I believe should be your lunch. Okay? Because you have time to work it out. And a lighter meal in the evening.
Right.
And don't eat late at night. Because if you're eating late at night, not good. Your body needs to rest. See? So is it breakfast an important meal? I believe it's something that you need to take a good look at. Some people say they can't eat breakfast in the morning. And look, I always ask people how healthy do you want to be? It's up to you. I'm not here to tell you how healthy you should be. It's up to you. How healthy do you want to be? Okay. Oh, you want to sit back and complain? Oh, my back hurts me, my ass hurts me, this hurts me, that. Oh man, I don't know what to do. I can't believe it. I'm overweight. I can't stop. Give me a break already. Okay? Do something about it. And if you don't know what to do, reach out to ask people how to do it. And then do it. I believe our society today, our youth, have become very weak. They don't have a strong constitution. I got a headache, I take a pill. I'm stressed out, I'm taking Xanax.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. The way you get stronger is to fight back these things, to use your own strength. You have it, we just don't use it. And then we think that we can't. Can't means won't.
Absolutely. The other thing I wanted to bring up is you kept using a 4-letter word that I think offends a lot of people.
What word was that?
Work.
Oh.
You said if you want a quality life, it's work. If you want this, you got to work at it. You've used that word quite a few times, and I noticed that you're saying that, especially with youth, words like work, they want shortcuts. But if you do it after a period of time, it's no longer work. I want to see if you could speak to that. When you first try anything, of course it's hard, it's work. But if you develop habits, it's no longer work. Isn't that true?
110%. Great question. Okay. When early in recovery, it felt like work. Oh, I got to go to these meetings. Oh, man, I got to do this. Oh, man, I got to do that. But as you do it, it becomes your lifestyle. It's just like doing your best to eat properly and lose weight and do what you're supposed to do. It's not a diet. It's a life change. But it takes time. It's like working out. Look, you go to start the workout, your first day of working out, and you do it, and you feel aches and pains the next day, and you go, I don't know if I want to do this, And then if you get through it, and then you keep doing it, and after a while, if you miss a day, you go, oh man, I don't feel right. I got to go back to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you're creating a positive habit. Okay, and well, look at those drug addicts. Okay, you didn't say, the drugs screwed me up last night. I'm not going to do them anymore. I mean, give me a break. All right. So the bottom line is that it's really not work. It's only work in the beginning, and then it becomes a lifestyle.
So it'd be kind of like riding a bike or learning to ride a bike. When you're first learning to ride a bike, you got to focus. It's so hard, and you fall.
Yeah, right. You have to get up.
But after a while, you get on it, and you don't even think. It's just a part of what you do. You get on it, you pedal, and you go. And so I think most things are just like that. You got to work at it to become practiced and confident and, comfortable, and then it's easy.
And if you don't like the word work, let's use a different word. Just do it.
Shut up and do it. How's that?
Shut up and do it. All right?
All right. And, Yeah, one last thing, John. You mentioned a little bit about stress and anxiety and things like that, especially with this past year that we've had, and even going into 2021, unfortunately, we still got a lot going on. Not to mention everyday life. But there's a lot of people that feel stress, and it almost is a physical manifestation they feel, but they ignore it. That's not good. I mean, it's good to keep going in spite of stress or anxiety, but you still do have to deal with it, maybe through meditation or therapy or something, right? Ignoring it doesn't make it better.
Well, people say, I don't think anybody ignores stress. Stress causes disease. Okay? Stress causes so many problems. Stress depletes dopamine. Okay? Your feel-good drug. So you get depressed. And when you get depressed, you don't want to get out of bed. You put the covers over your head. You say, why bother? Okay? Life sucks. And I can't believe I keep going through this. And I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. What I've learned, and, being homeless and being broke and going through all this kind of stuff, and the things that helped me, I'll share with you. Okay? It's the way you look at life which makes the difference. When I was homeless, I got divorced and I was living in this hotel room that a friend of mine loaned me because he owned the hotel. And I had a bicycle that somebody lent me. And the kids used to come and we all used to cry together, Daddy, why you here? And I was in recovery and I thought my life was over. I'm saying, this is recovery? What the hell? I'm in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I started to get depressed and I started to feel sorry for myself. And, and all of these different things. And then I had my addiction tugging at me. Oh man, let's just take a break and take a rest from all this shit. And let's just get high and all the things, and having no money and the stress of that. And then one day, I decided. I said, you know what? This is not working for me. Okay, it is what it is. It'll change when it's going to change. So I jumped on the bike that somebody loaned me, and I started riding down the beach. And I started to look at what I did have instead of what I didn't have. I was able to ride on the boardwalk. And Scott, let me tell you something. It was so beautiful at night. I was riding like 1, 2 in the morning, and the sky and the ocean breeze. And I started to appreciate where I was. Okay, I was alive. Okay, before I was the Walking Dead. And I started to get a hold of, hey, I'm healthy, I have possibilities. Okay, maybe I don't feel like it's at that moment in time, but I can change this. And with that attitude, it started to grow. Okay, and I did change it. And things got so much better. And then they went to hell. And then they got better. And then they went to hell. And it's called life's roller coaster. And, and that's how life is. But we have to look at what we do have instead of what we don't have.
I think we could both agree, John, and maybe everyone out there. I mean, you could have all the ingredients for a quality life. You could have everything lined up and perfectly in place. It doesn't happen, but let's say it does. But if you don't have a healthy perspective, it's not going to matter.
No.
You've got to adopt a healthy perspective. Among all these other things, the food and the exercise and the sleep, if you still have a negative perspective, no matter what you do, it's not going to be good enough.
Right. Listen, I have friends of mine that are multimillionaires. They're lonely. They're sad. They're not at peace.
Yeah.
They don't know who their friends are because they think they're the only reason people get close to them because they want their money. It's interesting. Being homeless and then having a lot of money, it's an interesting process. When you don't have any money, you're worried about making money. And when you have money, you're worried about losing money. So if you want to worry, you can worry at both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
What I do is since I lived in my karate school in my dressing room, being homeless again, okay, and living in that hotel room, I really learned that wherever I am, there I am. And it's my attitude that denotes how I feel. When I lived in my karate school and I was in my dressing room after I got divorced my first time, I used to roll out of bed. I was in my karate school. I used to work out, take a shower, jump on my bike, go for a ride. I loved it. I know that sounds crazy, but I loved it. I was enjoying myself. A lot of people think money fixes them. I got news for you. Money doesn't fix anything. It makes it easier? Yes. Okay. Makes life easier? Yeah, it does. Okay. Can you do things that other people can't? Yes, you can. Okay? But if you don't have the proper attitude, like Scott says, none of it matters.
Yeah.
None of it matters. Okay? Because if you still sit in your own shit, in plain English, it doesn't matter if you're in a golden tower or you're in a hut. Okay? Still shit.
I used to have to work on perspective and just patience and gratitude and those things. My sponsor used to tell me, pick the longest line at the supermarket and get in that line. Don't go to the short line. Even if there's a line with nobody in it, you go to the longest line in the supermarket and you sit and you just wait and be polite and keep a healthy perspective. Challenge yourself. Put yourself in those situations.
Well, I call it
these days, I still go to the longer line just automatically.
Well, you know what people don't understand. You got to not see people go, oh, look at this line, look at this, and look at that, and you have an opportunity. And what's the opportunity? How to practice patience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's your view of the world that causes you to feel the way you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't understand is that we have a gift. Go outside, look at the trees, walk around. I've traveled all over the world. I mean, I've been in the poorest places that you could ever want to be in. And if you want to know what real poverty is, okay, you think people that are in poverty here are high class compared to people in other countries that are what they call poverty. All right? And what people don't understand, there are people that are living in tents. There are people that don't have any food, that they have to go searching for food. I mean, their health care, you get sick, you're out of luck, Jack. Okay? We don't appreciate what we have because we have so much. That's the problem in our country. We don't know what it's like to really have nothing. For somebody in our country to have nothing means, I don't have a job, and I'm running out of rent money, and no, you have your life, you have possibilities. You can go to a clinic and get health care. My God, we have so much in this country.
Yeah.
But we don't appreciate it. We always look at what we don't have instead of what we do have. And you miss the opportunity of enjoying your life. Everything's always a get to. I talked to my son-in-law about this. He wants to make a lot of money. And I said, look, you need to enjoy where you are. If you're going to make your happiness based on your get to, or that golden ring someplace, okay, you're going to be miserable. Because you're going to bypass all the good stuff that's going on in your life. You need to realize something, and all of us do, that God, whatever God is to you, blessed us with life. It's what we do with that life is our gift back to God, or whatever you conceive as God. And every moment is a gift. Every moment's a gift. Look at people that are dying from cancer. Ask them how much they would pay for more time to live. We don't look at life like that because we don't have the cancer. Okay? So what you need to understand is that, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I might walk out the door, get hit by a train. I don't know. So I enjoy every moment. I'm blessed to have friends like Scott and my other partner, Karen, and people in my life. I look at life differently because I'm older now, that, I'm very blessed and very fortunate that I'm able to help other people. And that's what these podcasts are about. Okay? And it's up to you to help us, to like it and do whatever they have to do to make this grow. Look, man, we don't make money from this. We just do it to help people. And if you want to also be part of that journey, help us to help people. That's it.
That's it. And with that, we have come to the end of another How to Beat Your Addictions and Live a Quality Life with John Giordano. And again, I'm Scott Jones. Thank everyone for joining us today. Hope you learned something. Listen, if you agree with every single thing we said, then you're probably not listening because you never will. Take what works for you and use it. Just take what works for you. Talk to people. Open up. Get a better perspective on your life. And I swear, if you have the right perspective, no matter what situation you're in, you can be happy and you could have quality in your life. But John, thanks again, my friend.
Absolutely. And don't forget, okay, if you want to know more about me, go to Giordano.com. And if you want to see my life story, I wrote it to help motivate people. Go to The Kid from the South Bronx Who Never Gave Up. It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle.
And you can find out more about that book and other books that John's been involved in and written right there on his website, johnjgiordano.com. And, of course, we're always right here at Addiction Training Center to help you guys with whatever you need as well. For now, thanks for joining in. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.